Hello and welcome to my Valorant live stream overlay setup video. This is for those who have purchased and downloaded my overlay pack and need help setting it up. It's a bit different to set up as it requires a couple streamelements.com widgets and browser overlays, which I'll be showing the setup for as well. This overlay setup works in both OBS and Streamlabs OBS. The options are slightly different and the location of some of the settings may be different, but other than that, you shouldn't have any issues with the setup at all. So let's get into it. Firstly, make sure you have the overlay pack downloaded and extracted from the zip folder in a place you can find it. Putting it in a place where you can find it is important because you're going to be going back to this folder quite a bit. Next, open your streaming software and create a new scene. Find the scenes tab, add a new scene, name it gaming, as this will be the first scene that you're going to be making. You can name it whatever you want. If you have multiple that are gaming, you can name it Val Gaming, Valorant Gaming, something like that. I already have my scenes made so that I could have my display capture and my audio in it. And now we're going to go and add our first source. The sources are going to go in order from top to bottom. So once you make one, make sure that you drag it to the bottom of the list. So the first thing we're going to be adding in the list is a browser source. I'm going to name this SE, short for Stream Elements, in brackets Val Gaming Alerts. Yeah, right, alerts. Hit enter. We're not going to do anything with this now. We're just going to hit OK and hit the eye icon to hide it, just because we're going to be doing setup for that after. Next, we're going to be adding in our main overlay animation. So this will be a media source. Name it Val because it's the Valorant graphic file. Gaming overlay. And I guess in brackets, animation. Adding important naming conventions makes finding it easier once you have a bunch of sources. So it's a good habit to have. Hit OK. Gonna go to the browse folder. Gonna find our way to the overlay files folder. Gameplay. In this folder, you'll notice 4 sets of similar files. Each set of 3 files is a webcam border size. The sizes are traditional 16:9 wide, compact 4:3 wide, vertical 9:16, and green screen wide. Most people use the regular 16:9 width, but I will be doing the 4:3 as that is how it is set up on mine, just so I can show you how cropping works. So you're going to want to find the one that doesn't say red alert or green alert of the set of 3, just Valorant overlay of the size you want. Hit open, make sure you hit loop because it is a looping animation. Turn off, restart playback, and hit OK. You should see the animation. Because we just made the source, we're going to drag this down underneath the browser source we made. Just hit lock for now. We're not going to be moving any of the sources yet. We can do that later if we want to. But for now, we're going to move to the next source, which should be our camera, or webcam. So you're going to want to select video capture device. We're going to name this Logitech Brio because that is what my camera is. You can name it whatever your camera is, that way you can find it easier. So you're gonna want to select your device. Mine is a Logitech Brio. It should set to default, and you want to make sure that you set your settings properly because I can tell that my settings by default are wrong. I'm gonna set my resolution FPS type to custom, change it to 1920 by 1080. 30 frames per second is fine. The rest is usually fine. Hit OK. And then we're just going to resize this down to the size that we need. I just line up the top left and drag it till it fits horizontally. Center it. Then if you want to resize this, crop it, you want to hold Alt on your keyboard and drag the sides, and it will drag it. Oh, that's not centered at all. Huh. I'll try and find the center. Click and drag this inwards till you line it up. It should turn green if it's cropped. Good reminder. Like that. And as always, we're going to drag this to the bottom of our options. And I can tell it's a little bit off, but that's fine for now. Oh. I do have a lot of space up here anyways, so it's okay to crop that. Still a little off. Yeah, there we go. Now you're going to want to add your gameplay. I already have a display capture, but to add a gameplay, you're going to want to use a display capture, game capture, or window capture. The differences between them are that display captures whatever is on your screen. So if I drag in this window here, you will see it on the screen. Game capture or a window capture, it would capture only specific windows or certain applications like games. And some games don't work with game capture, so I just default to display capture just to make it easier. And lastly, you want to add in your audio sources using audio input capture. I am running my audio through Ableton Live to mix down my audio and send it out to one audio source. Thus, I only have one audio source in OBS. But for you, you might have multiple for your different sources, your gameplay, your microphone, this and that. It depends on the streamer, so set it up how you like it set up. If you need help setting it up, I highly suggest checking out the Francois Studio on YouTube. He does great tutorials on setting up your audio and using different programs. And if you need any help, jump into his Discord. Lots of cool people, lots of help. Highly suggested. Now to finish this overlay, we're going to be setting up our alerts using the browser source that we had. I'm just going to hide everything here so it's not in the way while we do the rest of this. But you're going to want to head on over to your browser and go to streamelements.com. When you get there, you should end up on the home page. If you've never logged in, you should see a login using Twitch or YouTube buttons. You want to log in. And when you get to the dashboard, you want to go over to the left here for streaming tools. Open that, open my overlays. And once you get to this page, you may or may not have things here if you've logged in before. Doesn't matter. We're just going to go and create a new blank overlay. Set the resolution to 1080, unless you use something else. Most people just use 1080. Hit start. Up in the top left here, we're going to rename it to Valorant Gaming Overlay. Nope, wrong. Valorant Gaming Alerts. Getting mixed up. For right now, we're just going to hit save and we're going to hit back. That way it's just named and it's easy to find. And now we're going to add in our widgets. Now inside of the Valorant overlay files, you should see a README. You open up that README and you look, you'll find this advanced information bar link here. Just want to copy that, open a new tab and paste it in. When you do so, it will say successfully shared overlay and it should show up in your list. And we're just going to edit that. We're not actually going to edit it here. We're just going to duplicate it to your previously made overlay that you just made. I'm going to click on it, click duplicate to other overlays, Valorant Gaming Overlays, submit. Don't need to hit save or anything, just back out. And now in this Gaming Alerts overlay that you just made, if you edit that, you should see the rotating information bar. To get into the settings to edit this, you're going to want to open that, hit settings, and you're going to find all these different settings inside. For this, I'm going to make it really easy so I don't go through explaining what all these options are. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go on over to my overlay and I'm just going to scroll through all the settings so that you can copy mine so that it works with the overlay. So here we are in my overlay. You'll see my rotating info bar. I'm just going to go through the settings. I'm just going to scroll through. If you need to pause the video, pause it. Just change your settings to what mine are and it should line up and look exactly like mine. All right, and once you're done, I just wanted to make a note here. If you notice this enable on every single one of these, you can choose to enable or disable any of these. If you don't want to show your viewer stats or you don't want to show your latest subscriber, any of that stuff, you can just change all that. You're gonna want to keep the rest of the color settings though, and the trained subscription type. But other than that, just gonna want to make sure that your text colors are the same and your margins, spacers, things like that, text size especially. And from here, we're going to move our way down to the position, size, and style tab. Open that up. If it says your widget is locked, you just want to go back up to the layers tab, hit unlock, back to the position, size, and style, and change your width, height, top, and left margins. Opacity should be 100, nothing else. Animation settings, there shouldn't be anything in there. The reason for this is that it sets the size of the widget and it adjusts it from how far to the left and the top it is, so it lines up. Once you're done all that, you're just going to hit save, and then we're going to go over here to this link icon, click that, it's going to copy the URL of the overlay, head back to OBS, and then in the browser source at the top, I'm going to go to properties, put in that web address, change the width to 1920 by 1080, make sure nothing else is checked, hit OK. I'm going to make that visible along with everything else. And you should see the text on the overlay. Pretty sweet. The one thing you want to make sure of is that your order is the same as mine. Otherwise things might not line up in the layers. And if for whatever reason you forgot what the layer order was, you can just head back to the Valorant overlay files, go into whatever scene it is you're working on. You'll find a layers ordered text file. and we'll have the layer order there for your reference. And with that done, we're gonna move on to our second widget to finish this scene off. Head back to the Stream Elements page. Make sure your overlay is saved. We're gonna head back to our Valorant gaming overlay. All right, now in the bottom left, you're gonna find this little blue plus button. You're gonna click that, whoops. Go to alerts and add alert box. You should see it show up here. If you have purchases for your stream, you can leave this checked, but most people don't. I just uncheck it just in case down the line I forget to, and you see it pop up on screen or whatever. And then you're gonna wanna go into the settings for it. I'm just going to go into my current alert box, and I'm gonna go through the settings there. So you're gonna wanna copy my settings. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is go into change video, upload, top right, select files, find your Valorant overlay files for gaming, gameplay, and find the red and green alerts for the size that you chose for your overlay. I chose 4x3, so I grabbed the green and red 4x3 alerts and hit open. I've already added them, so I'm not gonna hit it, but they should show up down here. You just hit open. It should show up in your all files and videos tabs here. I'm just gonna go to videos to make it easier. And for the follower alert, for follower, host, and raid, you'll select the green animation. And for subscriber, tip, and cheer, you're gonna wanna select the red one. So we're just gonna hit submit here, and you should see this change. For video volume control, you're just gonna leave it at 50 because this video doesn't have any audio. I just use the default sound for my follower settings. So you can just leave that default or add your own sound. Make sure text over image is selected. Your alert message, make it blank. Your alert duration 10 seconds. There shouldn't be any variations for the follower. If there are variations, you want to just turn all the variations off so it doesn't play the default animation. You just want to have them all off so it just plays the one animation that you've added. Text to speech if you want it. I don't have it. Text settings. I'm gonna scroll through this and you can just change your settings to what mine are. So for text and advanced. And that's that for the follower alert. You're going to be going through and changing all these to be basically the same. The only difference you're gonna have is the alert video. So again, for subscriber, it is the red video. I have added a custom Valorant notification sound. It is in the files. You can add it if you want, or you can add your own sound. So we're gonna go through here and you're just gonna copy my settings as usual and pause if you need to. All right, and we're done with the subscriber alert. Now for the tip alert. Again, red animation, not the green one. Pause the video if you need to. And we're done here with the tip. Now for cheer. Again, you're gonna want to do the red alert. You may have noticed that they all pretty much have the exact same settings as they should because they all update the exact same way. The only difference is that if you have different minimum alerts and alert messages, things like that. So just make sure to go through and check to make sure it is all the same. And lastly, we're going to do raid, green alert, same thing. And with that, we're done. Now that you're done setting all that up, if you want to test it, you can go and just do an alert, and you will see the alert happen. Should just go from white to green. Should be the same for all. And then once you're done, make sure to hit the copy overlay URL button, hit save, back into OBS, find your gaming alerts, open properties, paste the URL in, make sure that the width is 1920, height is 1080, and then make sure nothing else is checked, hit OK. And now everything should show up properly. Look how clean that is. And as always, you can just test it using the emulate button in the editor, and you should see it live on your overlay. That does it for the gaming scene. Now we can move on to the next. So we're gonna go into scenes. Gonna add a new scene, name it intermission, Valorant intermission, whatever you want. And then should be a blank overlay. I've already added my display capture in so you can see what I'm doing and my audio source. And we're gonna go into setting our sources again. Add a new browser source, name it SE for stream elements, Val for Valorant graphical elements, intermission, alert, text is what we're gonna name this one. Hit OK, hide that for now. Next, we're gonna add in an image. We're gonna name this Val intermission, oops, can't type again, mission body, hit OK. Press browse, go find the Valorant overlay files folder, intermission, there should only be one picture in there, that's the body, hit OK. There you go. Looks really busy, bear with me. We're going to add in another browser source now. Oh, make sure this is below the intermission. Gotta make sure that this order stays the same. So when you add in a source, drag it underneath the previous one. Next, we're gonna add in another browser source. We're gonna name this SE Val intermission. Can't type, can I? Backing animated. Leave this as it is again. We're gonna drag this to the bottom underneath intermission body. So you should only have 3 sources in here currently. Just gonna leave it and hide it. Add in your camera by going video capture device. Again, the only issue with this overlay is the fact that you have to use a 16:9 ratio camera for this scene, simply because I didn't make any variations for the webcam border itself. So you're kind of stuck with the size, this size specifically. But you're just gonna want to drag it in, line it up with the top left corner, tell it a little bit high, so use the arrow key to bring it down a couple. Looks good on the left side there. And you just want to stretch it out until it fills the right and the bottom. Mine might just be a little bit high up. Bring it down a pixel or so, a little bit to the left. Looks fine, and drag that to the bottom like we do with every new source. And it should fill up the sides, and this little cutoff cuts the corner. The scene is great when you have a second camera, like off to the side. Then you use that camera to use as your video camera here, and it just looks a whole lot cleaner, because then it's more of an intermission. But right now I only have my one camera set up, so that's what you get. Now you want to add in your game capture. So we're going to go and find, for Valorant itself, I would suggest using game capture simply because you can keep the window open in the background and it will still capture it, while with display capture it won't do that. But for now I'm just going to set display capture just because I don't have Valorant open. I'm gonna create a new one, display capture 2, so it doesn't mess with our other scene. Hit OK, center it, drag it to the bottom underneath the Logitech Brio, and it should show up in the background like that. Now for a little effect that I like to do, I can't remember if this is a stock feature or not in OBS, but I like to add a filter. Add the effect, blur, Gaussian, can't type again. These double S's, man. Gaussian blur, hit OK. Gaussian, and do about a 14% blur. It's pretty good, I think. Okay, close. That just adds a blur to the image in the background so that it draws your attention to me and keeps the scene from looking too busy. So we're just gonna leave it like that for now, just so it looks good. Now we're gonna head back over to Stream Elements to finish up with the browser sources. This overlay is gonna be set up pretty much the same way as the last one, just for where it sits on the overlay. And there are a couple other basic widgets that need to be added, but nothing too difficult, so it should go pretty smoothly now that you know how to set them up. Go back to home, your overlays page, create a blank overlay. 1080 is what I work with, so we're gonna do that. Change the name to Valorant Intermission. But again, for now, hit save. Go back to the main page. Go back into the advanced info bar, edit, find that rotating info bar, duplicate it to other overlays, Valorant Intermission, submit, and just go back to that overlay. I forgot we're gonna name it something like Valorant Intermission alerts text or rotator text, something, because there are two different overlays that need to be added. Now you should just see the rotating info bar. Again, gonna go in and go check through all the settings of this so you can just change yours to match. Once you've done that, we move on to position, size, and style. 1143 by 81, top margin 1027, 653.86. Animation settings shouldn't be anything. Should see it down here at the bottom, and that's all you're gonna do for this one. Just hit save, copy overlay URL, back into OBS. And you're gonna go to the top, alert text, properties, paste it in, 1920, 1080, nothing checked, hit OK. Make sure the eye is selected, and you should see your little viewer count, follower count all at the bottom there. Another benefit of having whatever source you have here blurred is that the text stands out a lot better. If I go in and turn that filter off, you can see that it's extremely difficult to read what is down there, unless the subscription bar thing pops up, but that's why it's a benefit. If it doesn't come stock, all you have to do is you have to add the stream effects plugin to OBS, which is really easy. Turn this back on. Stream effects, yeah, it's a super easy plugin to set up, and it should just add source mirroring and those filter effects. It's probably not the best time to say it, but I can't remember if it's in there or not. But if you want to download it, there'll be a link in the description for that. But moving on. Back to Stream Elements. Create a blank overlay. 1080. Valorant. Intermission. Alerts. Animation plus subs. It's a long ass name, whatever you want to name it. This just needs to be alerts, and so this is where the animations and the sub bars are located, so that's why I name it something like that. Much easier to name things that you can remember what they are down the line, months down the line, if you're still using the overlay. Makes it a whole lot easier. But again, hit save, hit back. Now again, we're gonna be adding another alert box. This is gonna be the exact same kind of setup as we did with the gaming scene. Add an alert box. And then we're gonna go through the settings for all these like we did last time. I'm just gonna switch over to mine so that you can copy my settings. So here we are in my setup overlay. I'm gonna go to follower, change video. And just like before, we're going to upload some new videos, select files, go into the intermission folder. Now when you open it in the editor, you should see more files because it is looking for video files as well. So you're going to find the green alert and red alert, select both of them, hit open. Hit close for now. It should show up in your videos as well. It should say Valorant, intermission, red alert, Webcam, and there should be a green one as well. So for the follower, you're going to hit green. Default video, volume control, layout, it's the exact same thing, 10-second alert duration. No variations, text to speech, whatever. Text, you're going to scroll through this and you can copy it. And animation, 0011, same thing. And just like before, we're just going to go through these and change them to be green and red, exact same as the last time. So remember to pause the video if you need to. Once you're done your alert box, we're going to be adding in our red and green sub bars. They are just the info bar widget that we used earlier. We're just going to change the settings and duplicate it again to make 2 of them. So make sure you save and head back to your overlays page to grab a duplicate. Again, going to go into the advanced info bar, select it, duplicate to other overlays, and go back to your previous overlay, your intermission one. Then you want to click that info bar, rename it red sub bar so you can differentiate the 2. Hit settings, and we're going to go through the settings again. All right, now position, size, and style. This is important. 1133 by 52, 1036.16 by 669. Nice. 0.16, 100% opacity, and no animation settings as usual. Back to the layers. Make sure the red sub bar is selected. Hit duplicate to this overlay, and you should have 2 red sub bars. The bottom one, make sure the bottom one, not the top one, because it does matter. You're gonna want to select the bottom one, change that to green sub bar. I'm going to go through the settings. They should be mostly the same. I think the only difference is the size, but we're going to go through it anyways. Just make sure to double check that all the settings are correct. I do believe the only difference is the train type. So before it was for subscribers and it would be red. On follow it is now green. Train height and train length. Train length should be the same, but train height should be different so that if you have both of them, they will stack like this and you'll see the green one behind the red one. So that you can see them both at the same time. So you basically have two trains going at the ssame time. Position, size, and style, 1089 by 48, 1029.96 by 669 by 0.25. No animation settings. And that's that for your subbars. Last but not least, we have your streams chat. I do believe I use the stock stream chat widget for this one. You can use any that you want or use the one that's linked. I felt that this one looked good, so it's your decision. You can go and set it up. The only thing you need to make sure of is the size of the widget itself. So just when you're setting it up, do some finessing to try and get it to fit the overlay properly. Once it's all set up, you'll see what I mean. Even I might have it too high, so I might have to go in and adjust it. So let's just add in the default stream chat if you want to set it up my way. Click Stream Tools, your stream's chat. Open up Settings, Theme Custom, Permanent Messages. Messages delayed by 2 seconds. I realized that this was wrong on mine, so I adjusted to no message delays. Background color transparent, and then position, size, and style 609 by 553, 506.06, 55.19. And then text settings. As usual, I'm just gonna scroll through this. You can just change it. So I just use Arial because it looks the cleanest. It's a custom font. I have it on my computer, so you just go in and type Arial. 18 pixels, all stock, settings, no shadow text. And with that, you're done. We can test this, actually. What we're gonna do is go into OBS, and in our chat, I'm just gonna type, hello, viewers. See it show up there, and we're gonna go back to the stream elements widget, and you should see hello viewers down there in your text box. That's how you tell if your text box is working. And as normal, hit save, copy the link. If you want to test your animations, you can see that the sub bar and the animations happen at the same time. You'll see the animation show up and disappear within 10 seconds, and then your sub bar is going. I can move this because it's in the way. And let's say we did that and you got a sub as well. Sub. So there's sub bars that overlaying each other. Get another follower. When that emulation stops, you should see that bar go back up, and that's what's gonna happen on your overlay. Pretty sweet. So now we're gonna head back to OBS. So back in OBS here, I seem to have named this wrong, so we're just gonna rename this intermission, this browser source here, intermission alerts animations. Go in, hit properties, add in our overlay, 1920 by 1080, uncheck all the boxes, hit OK. And you shouldn't see anything until any of the alerts happen. So I'm gonna turn all this back on so it's really easy to tell. I'm just gonna open my stream elements window here. And I'm just gonna do a emulate a follow so you can see what happens. There you go. Lines up, looks good. You should see this little animation going a little quicker when that happens. And it disappears. And the reason for that is because we are missing one layer. I'm gonna add in a new layer, a media source, val, intermission, backing, animation. That is what we had the previous layer named as. I got them mixed up for some odd reason. Hit enter, add in a file, add in the intermission backing animated file, loop, turn off, restart playback, hit OK, drag that to the bottom, and there you go. Now it should look proper. You have this nice drop shadow there to offset the backgrounds a little bit. You have this little animation on the right hand side going. That should go at all times. So now if I hit follower event, it should both be on the same line now. And there you go. If you find that the text is a little bit low on your widget here, you can just go in and move it up. That is the alert text file, not the alert animations. I'm just gonna leave it right at the bottom for now, just for show's sake, so I don't waste too much time. And you can do another, is this working? Sick. This overlay is dope. Remember to follow JagdTeaguer on all socials. And the reason why I'm typing all this in is the one simple test of seeing if everything lines up from the top to the bottom. Obviously at the bottom it's coming in nicely. It's not being cut off. But if I go like this, I have it set so that no, this size-wise, no messages get half cut off. All the messages are there. So you won't see a message that's like the bottom of the text there. I think maybe you can cut it off like that, but it's not really cut off. And that's kind of why I like this one, is that it's really clean and simple. It's not super busy, but again, use any chat widget you want to use. Sorry for that double audio, I have it playing in my browser as well. And you should see, yeah, there's both your bars there. That looks really good, I think. And with that, all the hard parts are finished. We can move on to the next scene. So we're gonna go and add a new scene. BRB, be right back, whatever you want to call it. Now that we have our be right back scene here, we're going to add a media source. We're going to name this Val, be right back, overlay, animation. Oh, needs to be in bracket. Hit OK. Hit again, local file, browse, overlay files. Find the be right back scene, be right back overlay. Hit open. Loop. Turn off restart playback. Hit OK. Ooh, fancy. Lock that. Add in a browser source. SE stream elements, Valorant, be right back, chat. That's the only widget we're going to be using in this scene. Again, just leave it, drag it underneath the animation, hide it, lock it. Head back to stream elements. For the chat widget, you can easily use the stock chat widget that we used in the last overlay, or you can find a custom widget on the Stream Elements Discord under their widget share channel. If you use the stock one, just set it up however you like to look and adjust its scale to match the one that I'm going to do. Otherwise, here's how you set up the chat widget that I use. If you want to open up the README, you will find this yet another chat widget by Eronius, I think that's how it's pronounced. Right click copy or Control C, back into here. Paste it, hit enter, and should show up here at the top. I have it right here. We're gonna add another blank overlay. Make this 1080. Valorant, be right back, chat. Enter, hit save, go back, go into your yet another chat widget. Mine's down here, edit, select it, hit duplicate to other overlays. Be right back chat, submit. I'm just gonna go because I already have it in mine. Now once you're in your be right back overlay, go into your settings here. This widget offers a test message button, which is really cool, but we're gonna go through and change our settings to match mine as normal. So emote size large, message duration on screen, 0 is infinite, message to display, 0 is infinite, side by side chat, no, message box styles. Just gonna scroll through and you can change yours to match mine. Pause if you need to. Once you're done that, position size and style, 498 by 727, 311.13 by 134.38, 100% opacity, and then no animation settings. Gonna hit save, copy over the URL, head back to OBS, find our be right back chat properties, paste that in, 1920 by 1080, uncheck everything, hit OK. We're gonna add in one more image. Val, be right back, background, okay, browse, open the background, hit okay, drag that to the bottom, and you should be all good. I think that looks pretty sweet. Now that we have the Be Right Back scene set up, we can move on to our last two scenes. They are basically the exact same scene, just with the graphics changed and the text. So just go and add a new scene. We're gonna start with our stream ending. Oh, starting, damn, can't type. Valorant starting soon scene. And hit OK. I'm just gonna go over to mine. There we go. All right, first things first, we need to add a media source. This is our Val starting soon overlay, and in brackets, animation, and type, enter, browse, Valorant overlay files, starting soon, overlay, okay, loop, turn off, restart, playback, hit OK. So we're just gonna lock that and minimize it. Next, we're gonna add in our browser source, se, val, starting soon chat, hit OK, drag that below, hide it. Then we're gonna add our background, image, val, starting soon background, file, background 1. I'm gonna drag that to the bottom. Here's what it will look like, minus the chat. Just a looping animation with a nice background, nice and clean. Your chat will do the same thing as the Be Right Back one, where it scrolls up nicely and fades in nicely. Just gonna get rid of that and the animation, so we have this, so we can just move on to the widget. And speaking of said widget, we will be opening stream elements here. Create a blank overlay, 1080, start, rename it, Valorant starting soon chat. Save, press back. Go into your yet another chat widget, edit. Click on it, duplicate to other overlays. Select your starting soon chat, submit. Hit save. Here we are on my starting soon. So just like before, I'm just going to, so there you go, it fades up nicely, looks great. I'm just gonna scroll through my settings, and you can just change yours. If you need to pause the video, as always, do so. All right, now we're gonna move on to the position size and style. 502 by 964, and margins are 56.89 and 807.44, 100% opacity. That will set it right here. Line it up. Your settings for both scenes are the same. So when you duplicate it, you can just copy the same. The only thing you need to change really is just the text color. So setting it up in both scenes is identical, minus the text color for the backgrounds. I'm gonna go over and show you that in a second. But once you're done setting all this up, save. Once you're done saving, hit copy overlay URL, back to OBS here. Open your starting soon chat, paste it in, 1920, 1080, nothing checked, hit OK. Set a bunch of messages, and just need to turn it all on, and it should look like this. There you go. So we're all done here. I'm gonna hide all those so you can see what I'm doing here. And then we're just gonna go in and do the exact same thing for our ending soon scene. And we should be done. Val ending soon, whatever. Same naming convention that you've been using. Head over there. And same order. I'm gonna add a media source. This is our Val stream ending animation. Browse. Go to the overlay files, ending soon overlay, loop, turn off, restart playback. You'll see it's a different color. Just gonna hide that for now. Add in a browser source, se val stream ending, oops, can't type, ending chat, whatever. Typing can't say my, jeez, I'm just all over the place. Done. Okay, drag that below that. Just gonna hide it for now and add an image. Val stream ending background. Gonna hit OK. As you can see, this one has a stripe. Make sure to drag this to the bottom from the top. I can actually just go and copy the same ending soon, or sorry, starting soon, because the text doesn't really matter at this point because it's the same color. The widget and everything is in the exact same place, so it really doesn't matter that I have to make a new one. You can do this too if you want to save yourself some time. Just keep it all one color of text and then just use it across all of them. That works too, but I can just update it, add it, and I can spam in some stuff and you should see the text pop up. And let's put all of it on there. And there's your stream ending. Oh, I love these colors, they're so nice. Shout out to the Valorant team for picking some really solid color and design language. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You can use any chat widget, just make sure it fits within this. One thing you will notice is if you look carefully at the background, let's go back to the starting soon. If you look at the background, you'll see these white lines at the top and the bottom, which are the margins for the chat. You'll notice on this scene, it's kind of there. It's like a really thin outline. That's because the video file that I'm currently using, not the final file, has blue on it. You can see it in the kind of like overlay here. You can kind of see there's a little bit up at the top. That shouldn't be there. It should be part of the background file. So when it's rendered out, what files you have, this will not be there. It will have the white to match. If I turn off there, that's what the background will look like properly. It's just because of the video on top that has the blue that's making that little bug happen. But yours will not have that, so just a little note. Now, last but not least, the most exciting part, just kidding, it's not that exciting, is the stinger transition animation. The thing that happens when you go from scene to scene and it makes it look really clean and smooth. It's called a stinger. People call it a transition. Either works. But if you look up here and you go to scene transitions, your scene transitions tab, a lot of syllables. You go up here and you'll see add. These are all different scene transitions that you can just add in. We're going to be using the stinger. Valorant stinger. There's only one. Select browse. Go to the Valorant overlay files. You'll find Valorant stinger. You'll see it's a really wide video. That's on purpose. You don't want to select that. Time, milliseconds, transition point, 0. This should all be good. You just want to turn on use a track matte. A track matte is simply just like a mask where it takes black and white. Whatever's black is visible and whatever's white is transparent in it. So it's just a mask. It lines up with the video so that they're side by side, so that the software just knows what to do, how to use the mask properly. And that's what all these settings are. Just want to make sure that it is. Make sure hardware decoding is on. Why is that? Yeah, use hardware decoding when available. That's helpful. Use track matte, and it should be set to same file, side by side, stinger on the left, track matte on the right. And it should be fine. You can just preview it. It should go from A to B, and it should transition properly. A little green in the background. Whoop. You can see the little box come across the screen from the right side. It has a little bit of green, and when I press it again, it's gonna be a little bit of blue, and that's just a window, basically, to the next scene, and then it zooms into the camera, and you are in the next scene, is what's happening here. So you see blue, and it'll zoom into the next scene. You hit OK. And when you're done, you can just hit another scene, and it will do the transition for you. Just like that. How about that? That looks pretty sick. Slick. Quality. But if everything's set up properly, and once it's all set up properly, that should be it. I don't really have much else to say. Taking up enough of your time already. If you like this overlay and you want me to make more, give me a follow. Let me know what other types of overlays you want. If you want a custom overlay, let me know. I do commissions. Hop into my stream, come say thanks, let me know if you're using the overlay. Jump into my Discord and show me your overlay in action. I'd love to see what it looks like. I bet it looks dope. Let me know what other people think of it. Tell your friends. If you play Valorant, your friends play Valorant and they stream, I think this is one of the best Valorant overlays out there. in my opinion. It's not perfect, but I definitely like it. People say they like it when they're watching my streams, so, and if you bought it, that means you obviously like it, and I appreciate that. Thank you for the support. Yeah, don't forget to hit subscribe on this video, leave it a like, means a lot. All right, thanks, take care.